It's a real mixed bag for Xbox this week. There's good news and there's bad news as another exclusive Xbox shooter is closing down. Halo is changing to Unreal Engine and there's going to be no story DLC. What's going on there? It's crazy out there in Xbox land, and we're going to be covering it all, of course, on the Xbox Monday Night Chat. I hope you're good. Let's roll the intro credit. Yokoso, yokoso, yokoso. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Xbox Monday Night Chat, the podcast. Yes, we are back once again, delivering you all the latest in the world of Xbox news. And as I said, today it's a real mixed bag. We're going to be talking about Activision Blizzard as we do every week, as they get a formal warning from the EU on that. Xbox exclusive shooter Crossfire X is shutting down. I remember this featuring at E3. There's an article about the AAA games industry is doomed. We're all doomed. What's that all about? Halo's up for a reset. Yeah, they're going to stop functioning. We know already that 343 Industries have lost lots of people. And some of those efficiencies are being seen by the fact they're getting rid of their in-house engine, which reportedly caused issues in the first place and bugs. But there are some good news as we see Xbox empowering indies. We see Ubisoft Plus. It looks like it's just about to be launched as part of Xbox Gamepass. What else we got there? Lots of other exciting stuff to talk about. As ever, please hit the likes because I like it. I do. YouTube likes it and it helps people like you, the wise, clever, intelligent people, find amazing content just like this, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, if you are new here, arigato gozaimasu, hit that subscribe button, toggle that notification bell, and that way you'll know when I go live with content like this, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, this is the Xbox Monday Night Chat. It's all about chat as we chat about the topics, the Xbox news that I shall be raising throughout the show. So I want your opinion, your views, your thoughts on some of the issues, some of the stories. In fact, all of the issues and all of the stories that we're going to be raising and talking about today. Also, let me know what games you've been playing. Put it in the chat. Don't be shy. And all of that as we see who's in the chat. Early doors is Sednar. Good evening, Sednar. Good evening, chat. Indeed, good evening, chat. Hi, how are you? We'll be listening while I work, but no whistling. No whistling while you work. Exactly. Whistle while you work. Not here. Health and safety. Might spread germs while you're whistling. Who knows? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, games that I've been playing. Well, we're going to be talking about Halo. This, it's Xbox's flagship IP. We've said that before. I've talked about it at length. I'm not sure. We've got Christopher Torres here. The new Huel Carbonara any good? Well, cheese flan. Normally, Huel are very good. This is not about Huel, but since you're asking, Huel are usually very good at sending me some review samples to review it. But for some reason, they've not sent me any, and I may have to buy it. But then I realised you've got to buy 3 bags, which is, I don't know, nearly 100 quid. Crazy. But I will be reviewing it when I get around to it. But normally, yes, Huel. I don't know what's up with your social media people. Normally, they send me the stuff. Yeah, no problem, whatever. But for some reason, they've not. But anyway. Hello, Juice. Juice says, Macchiato, lovely to see you. Sednut is playing Elden Ring and looking forward to Hot Wheels. Yeah, Hot Wheels be nice. As I said, I am at the moment infatuated with Call of Duty Warzone DMZ. I love it. I love that game, and I know for some of the Warzone fans out there, it's not their cup of tea necessarily. I love it. I think it's great fun. It's frustrating especially when you're playing single player. It's a lot of fun if you're playing with a buddy or a team. And I'm playing it a lot on the Xbox Series X, kicking back on the big armchair, loving it. And also, a hell of a lot of Halo multiplayer. I'm sometimes put off by multiplayer games because I always feel I'm not good enough. Do you know what I mean? And who wants to play a game where they're always sort of bottom of the class? I'm a trier, but Halo, I don't know whether it's the matchmaking. I don't know whether it's because I'm playing it on the Xbox Series X or whatever, and I'm not playing it in the cloud. Whatever, I do all right in Halo multiplayer. So if it is the matchmaking, good for you, because I feel like I'm competing. I'm getting MVPs on a regular basis. I'm getting in the top 50%. It's the games are fairly quick. I just hit quick play, which just gives you a random multiplayer game. I've got my favorites and stuff like that, but I don't mind. I'll play any of the multiplayer games, and I just hit the quick play into another game, and I'm loving it. As I say, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but don't be put off. If you're okay at first-person shooters, I mean, I'm not talking, hardcore or anything, then I think it's noob friendly. I find it even more friendly than, say, the Destiny 2 multiplayer in terms of ability and stuff like that. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm not playing in the cloud. I don't know. It can't be. I think it's just the matchmaking. But yeah, Call of Duty DMZ, which I really like. I would much prefer, when I play it with my son, it is so much fun because if you get shot, when you're playing on your own, if you get shot, that's it. Unless you found a self-revive, which are quite rare, you're just going to die. Whereas if you're playing with a buddy and you get shot, the buddy can come and revive you. You keep going. Always better with a friend. So if anybody's interested in playing a bit of Call of Duty DMZ, I'm down for it because it's a lot of fun. But equally, Halo multiplayer as well. I'm just playing it non-stop at the moment. Unbelievable. Let's just see who's in there. Oh, Kevin Eagles was going to say something nice and then he's retracted it. Oh. Francisco Suarez. Hello. Hey, Clive. I love the early Halos and the story mode. I also like the shooting engine and don't like the one in Infinite. It's all bad news. Is it all bad news for me? I don't know. I just like the multiplayer in Halo at the moment. It's quite simple. I play Halo on the cloud. Quick play is great. Yeah, just rinse and repeat. Hey, Dave, how you doing? Good to see you in there. Juice wants to play more DMZ. I haven't really got far with it. I play it all the time at the moment. For some reason, I've had a bit of extra time than I normally had. I had a busy week. I think last week my daughter's doing A-level artwork finals, and so there's a lot of kind of work supporting her, just getting her in the right places, buying her materials, everything, giving her moral support and all of that. Anyway, that's done. So a bit more time, stressful time for kids doing exams and stuff. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing really exclusively. Oh, Hi-Fi Rush. Let's just talk briefly before we get into the news. Have you played Hi-Fi Rush yet? I played it initially and thought, it's all right. And then I played it a bit more. Now I'm into it. It is such a well-polished game. It's fast, it's fun, it's easy, it's sort of easy to pick up, but it's all the details that just make it look so fun and so polished. And in fact, we're going to be talking about Hi-Fi Rush in a kind of indirect way about Unreal Engine when we come to talk about Halo, because there is a criticism about games that are developed with Unreal Engine 5. But I believe that Hi-Fi Rush is a good example of what happens when you have a real good imaginative and creative team using a good tool set like the Unreal Engine. Otherwise, you get kind of games that look the same. But Hi-Fi Rush is so polished. Just it gives such good satisfaction. It's aesthetically, when you achieve something, you know, kind of beat the big boss, the final smackdown bit, all of that, and it's comic book style. It looks so great, and it's so responsive. So well done. No wonder it's getting rave reviews and all of that. Anyway, let's crack on, ladies and gentlemen, some of the news of the day. So we always talk about it, but it's important because Activision Blizzard deal is so important. I wouldn't say they bet the house on it, but, you know, it's a massive deal for Xbox, obviously. It says here, the EU has reportedly issued a formal warning. Yellow card. Formal warning to Microsoft over Activision Blizzard deal. So this is like a kind of, these are our major concerns. These are serious concerns that we have, and we're giving you sort of forewarning. These are the things that you need to address with us to satisfy us that this is not anti-competitive. That's effectively what they're doing. So it says Microsoft is seemingly facing more regulatory opposition to its proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard. This is according to Politico here. European Union's issued Microsoft with a formal antitrust warning. So it's just formal warning saying, we believe, unless you can answer these questions, there are some gaps here that we've got genuine concerns about, and unless you can answer them to our satisfaction, this thing won't get approved. It's a so-called statement of objections sent to the US tech giant. EU antitrust enforcers laid out reasons why the deal could threaten fair competition on the video game. The move comes after the EU launched an in-depth investigation in November, finding that Microsoft may in the future be incentivized to block access to Activision's popular Call of Duty phrase. Microsoft said it would be committed to finding a path forward. So basically, they're going to have to negotiate their way, either answer the questions to the EU antitrust's satisfaction, or negotiate or find a way. And coming up soon, the UK's Competition and Markets Authority is set to issue its provisional findings very early. Been updated. We're not like in February. We are in February, so any minute in the next week or so, I would say, we can expect to find the UK's view on this. So there we go. It's not going away yet. It's not getting solved. They've still got those hurdles to jump. There's your achievements, everybody. Well done. Right. There seems to be a lot of doom and gloom in the tech industry, but also in the games industry, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Xbox shooter Crossfire. I like Crossfire. Again, I felt I could compete in it. You know, not the best, but not the worst. I'm quite happy to be a bit Goldilocks when it comes to competitive shooting. You know, I don't have to be the best. Just as long as I'm not, you know, it's not a painful experience. I'm always at the bottom or something of the rankings. Xbox shooter Crossfire X and its Remedy developed campaign shut down in May. I remember playing Crossfire as a demo before it even got announced as a campaign element. So Remedy did a campaign, which is all right, just very short. it was quite generic first-person shooter sort of campaign, mission-based campaign. But I like them. I like first-person shooter campaign stories. You know, I just like doing the tasks and getting through the story. But it was very short, and I think they were meant to be adding more stuff. But it was the multiplayer stuff that was, again, it was fun. A bit like the Halo stuff, a variety of types of games, bit like Rainbow Six Siege, but maybe less competitive. I mean, the level of necessary to be really good at that, it was a lot easier, I think, to get into Crossfire, from my point of view. But yeah, it's shutting down in May. Coming to this decision was not easy. Developer Smilegate has announced the impending closure of its year-old. It's only a year old. I remember getting announced it. So the Xbox Summer of Games is sort of E3 type thing. As you know, as a sort of a big thing for Xbox. Maybe it was the year before. Can't remember now. Anyway, it's going to shut down on the 18th of May. A move that also affects its Remedy-developed single-player campaign. Crossfire X, the console version of Smilegate's hugely popular PC Crossfire, as I understand it's massive in Southeast Asia, launched for Xbox One and Series X and S last February, combining the multiplayer component of the PC original with a specially developed single-player campaign. It was never going to win any awards, that campaign element, but it did the job. Simple enough. It delivered, you know, it did exactly what it says on the can, sort of thing. A little over a year from the troubled launch, Smilegate has announced it'll soon be ending support for the game. It is our deepest regret that we are informing you of our decision to end support of Crossfire X. Upcoming service closure. Our game servers will close on May the 18th. Purchases made within the last 14 days of February may be eligible for a refund. And I think there are also some refunds for people who've bought some content as well, I believe. But yeah, this is not, you know, this is in a line of closures. It says here, on Tuesday last week, Iron Galaxy announced the closure of its Brawler Royale Rumbleverse. So it's about supporting these multiplayer games. Plus, you had shutdown notices for Knockout City, which is an EA game, Echo VR, PvP mystery game Crime Site, and Apex Legends Mobile. So, you know, this sort of struggle that seems to be going on in the tech industry overall, people are struggling. And there's an interesting article here in the NME that sort of says the AAA games industry is doomed. It's a little more complicated than just too many games. There is a lot of competition. Back in the day, it talks about, GoldenEye back in the day, and it was a long time ago, like 30 odd years, however long ago it was, more than that. GoldenEye for the N64 way back in 1997. Small team. And you'd ship the game, you'd get the carts manufactured, ship them out, and then you all go for beer. Yeah, there wasn't this sort of ongoing support, really, in the same way. Once the cartridges were sent out, job done. Everybody down the pub in Rare, in Warwickshire. In fact, I remember visiting Rare Studios many, many years ago, and it used to be in like a barn. Well, sort of a series of nice barns, but right in the middle of nowhere, right in the countryside. It was nice to drive out there, but yeah. So I think everything was sort of, you know, they'd probably get the beers in rather than go to Warwickshire or Leamington Spa to have a bevy. Anyway, development costs around $2.5 million for 2.5 years in development. Whereas now, you've got these games that cost so much to make and then support. It's its ongoing support. It's keeping a team together to kind of continue support these multiplayer games. And there is so much competition. It's like the whole Pareto principle, isn't it? It's sort of 20, you know, that 80-20, 20-80. 20% of the success goes to 80% of the wealth goes to 20% of the you know, the top games. It's probably much more narrow than that. It's probably, you know, 80% of the wealth goes to 5% of the top games. It's very competitive, and you're spending hundreds of millions on the AAA games, hundreds of millions. And then you've got to update it and do updates and stuff like that. Maintain your engine, which is the issue with Halo, which we'll be coming to. Well, before, someone on the first PlayStation might have played 20 to 30 games a year. It's now feasible for one player to play Fortnite and nothing else. Is it the amount of free games? You know, we expect everything for free. Yeah, maybe with in-game purchases. That's a big risk to kick off a game that you're depending on in-game purchases, that you're going to get enough people playing the game to make the in-game purchases worth it. Maybe that as a model doesn't work. But it's a very interesting article. Ubisoft's perpetual delayed Skull and Bones, or Splinter Cell, Prince of Persia remakes. EA apparently cancelling Titanfall Apex Legends universe game that they've been developing. The list just goes on and on and on. So there is a crisis going on in the tech industry, in the game industry at the moment. I would hasten to add, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just close that down. Anyway, let me know what you think. Are there too many games? Is it becoming too risky? So, we talked about this before, and this is all kind of interconnected, really. But Halo, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I am a big fan of Halo. I enjoy it. I enjoyed the story campaign. Did it, as I've said before on this show many times before, did it move the needle in terms of being a cutting edge game for a flagship for a brand new console, the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S? Not really. It's a very good game. It does what it says on the can, but does it move the needle? Not really. So Halo's rumored Unreal Engine 5 switch makes sense. This is according to Digital Foundry, who were talking about it. So it seems that Halo uses 343 Industry uses their in-house engine Slipstream to develop Halo. Now that we know that obviously 343 are losing people, and the rumor about the Unreal 5 engine was started in, I think, November last year. So this is before the redundancies were made, but it makes sense if you're reducing your team that you go, okay, well, that way we can get rid of all the people that are maintaining our own game engine. We don't need to develop our own game engine. It'd be, surely if we could just use Unreal 5. It's good enough. Could do the job. So it says here, there's a new trend in video game development. Game studios, even large ones, are binning their own bespoke engines, moving to Unreal instead. We've seen it with CDPR and The Witcher. We've seen it with Crystal Dynamics and Tomb Raider. I mean, that used to be the thing as a developer. You work and develop your own engine, like the Crytek engine or whatever it is, to then produce all your games. And somehow your engine will give your game something slightly graphical or something slightly different, the way it plays, the way it handles, that's different than arguably using the tools that everybody else is using in a cookie cut fashion. But the downside is you've got to maintain that engine. You've got to keep up, fix bugs. You've got to constantly, develop that engine and then roll out changes to the game so that, further development works and all of that. So it is a risk. It goes on to say here that 343 Industries, the beleaguered steward of the franchise Halo, faced a lot of criticism upon the initial reveal of Halo Infinite, largely over its graphics. Graphically, it's very, very good. Is it mind-blowing? Like I said, no, it wasn't. It's a very good AAA game. It looks good, but you know, there are other games that you just look at and you go, wow, that looks amazing. You know, look at the rain, look at the puddles. Despite significant improvements up to and beyond the game's launch, it's clear the game didn't live up to expectations, and now the developer is all but starting from scratch. So you bear in mind here, nearly 100 staff axed from Halo developer report claims, and they're all but starting from scratch on the franchise future, i.e. going to start building the next Halo game, which has got a sort of a project name, using Unreal Engine. So the current game won't. I mean, but surely if there's nobody there to maintain the developer engine. The other problem with maintaining your own developer engine is that you get a lot of old legacy code, and then somebody new comes in, they've got to learn it and all of that kind of stuff. Whereas if you use an off-the-shelf proprietary engine, then that company, you know, Epic, they're going to be doing all the bug fixing and all that kind of stuff on the actual engine. You don't have to worry about it because that's all been done. That's been maintained for you. That's what you're paying your license for, to use the engine. So it goes on to say here, so according to Digital Foundry, they sort of say it's a bit of a tragedy, both for the developers involved and the Slipspace engine that powered Halo Infinite. It says the demise of in-house engines necessarily means a loss in variety when it comes to rendering techniques, art styles, and more, and contributes to issues like the stutter struggle epidemic. Our term for shader compilation stutters that plague PC games that have used Unreal Engine 4. Presumably the new one will be using Unreal Engine 5. And they go on to say here, bespoke engines have the latitude to do something a little bit different. That's what I was talking about. You could just maybe do something that's a little bit different. Emphasize graphical techniques, features, or development styles that better suit an individual team. Sometimes it's better to, you know, come up with a racing engine. Yeah, like Codemasters have a racing engine that they've developed over years and years and years, because it's specifically built for racing games. You can build a racing game in probably an Unreal Engine 5. No doubt there are racing games built in Unreal Engine 4 and 5. But you can get more finesse if you've got a dedicated racing engine. So there is a reason to develop your own in-house engine if you have a particular genre of game. But if that genre of game is like a first-person shooter, and are you really going to, is your in-game engine really going to improve on Unreal? Where Unreal now is as a development engine? I'm not sure. In a sense, switching to Unreal Engine 5 is a clean break, or a chance to get rid of legacy cruft and start again from a sturdy foundation. They go on to say, I hope this doesn't stifle ambition or lead to a generation of bland, cookie-cutter game graphics, which is a criticism you do to me. I'm slightly, well, not slightly, I'm colorblind, and certain, and yet I like, you know, first-person shooters. But a lot of them are set in sort of either urban or kind of woodland, and the color textures are all the sort of same, and so the greens and the browns and the reds kind of merge a little bit for me. And yeah, I can change the settings to the color to help people with color blindness, but they never really work properly for me. I can't find the perfect combination. Whereas obviously I play something like Halo, I enjoy, because it's really clear who the enemies are. Yeah, because they sort of glow red or a little pink. I don't know what colour, but the point is, it's really obvious. Fortnite, you know, it's really obvious because they're bright colours. But PUBG and Warzone to a certain degree, sometimes if the background and the textures for the sort of same greeny grey browns, I can lose people a little bit. It's not savage, but just that split second, which is why I think I like Halo, as I said, because it's really obvious who the enemy is. They've got an orange glow and a little orange dot above their head. It's quite easy. Or red. I don't know what colour it is. The point is I can distinguish the colour. That's the key thing. There's a difference. But it goes on to say, so I hope it doesn't stifle ambition or lead to a generation of bland cookie-cutter game graphics. Hi-Fi Rush is a great counter-example of what you can do to subvert the look of Unreal Engine and end up with something special. So, like I said, if you've got really good artists, really good creative imagination and design styles, then you can use Unreal Engine to create something really different and wonderful. Like, as I said, Hi-Fi Rush looks very different and yet is so polished. Yeah, so there you go. So it goes on to say, I'm just having a look here, whether it's in this one. Okay, it's not in this one, so it's in the next one. So they are developing. So this was way back in. This is recent here. Again, the other thing is no DLC. Reportedly, no more DLC for the campaign. I could really do with a bit more story. The only thing they've added was the fact that you could do some of the missions again multiplayer, co-op, which is what they should have been available to do when it launched it. But I'd love an extra story element or extra campaign to it. So this is building on the report by Bloomberg. Halo Infinite doesn't have any story content planned for the foreseeable future as developer 343 Industries switches to Unreal Engine. And this switch was noted way back in October here. That it was switching to Unreal Engine. So this is before the redundancies were announced. So it makes sense. But is it a good choice? There's no question 343 Industries and Halo Infinite itself have suffered multiple problems in recent times. It was criticised for not having the Forge and campaign co-op mode. That's what I just said. And the campaign co-op mode was later cancelled. You've got former bosses leaving the company. I'm trying to find a bit. Let's go back to this bit, sorry, where they talk about the new game. Because I was thinking, before I read this article, actually, you know what they should do? And I know, like, people always say this about a game. Why don't you make it a battle royale? But you know what? A Halo battle royale, I reckon, would be a hell of a lot of fun. Look, the gunplay and the shooting and the weapons and the vehicles, that's what makes Halo such good fun. So imagine making it into a battle royale. Just add a few extra elements to make it different, that build on the features that Halo, has in terms of its gunplay and all of that, and its melee and the different types of weapons that you can find. You get the snipers, you get kind of the big guns, the what's it called, the cinder shot gun, and they're well balanced. The big guns are well balanced. It takes time to load. Lots of different things. So imagine, I think with a bit of imagination, a battle royale set in a Halo world would work. And it was rumored Yeah, the report states the 343 Industries switch to Unreal Engine will start a new Halo game. This is a game that they are co-developing with Texas-based studio certain Affinity. I wonder what they're famous for. We'll check them out. I'll just copy that. This Halo game is codenamed Tatanka and was originally envisioned as a battle royale game. Now, that's either just sort of wishful thinking or just vague speculation. I don't know. But it may evolve into different directions reportedly. Make it a DMZ type game. Yeah? You can have your, the flood and all that. You can have all your enemy characters in the world getting in the way and you kill them and then you get extra weapons and stuff like that. Get to extraction point. All of that. But, yeah, it looks like they've just basically going to say, okay, we're going to continue developing the IP. Obviously, it's a flagship IP for Xbox. It's really important. But we're kicking out our existing game engine and we're just going to start doing it on Unreal. Because then we don't have to maintain the engine. We can work with a smaller crew. We just need to, it's easier to employ people because then you're looking for people who've got Unreal Engine experience and all that kind of stuff, programmers. And as I said, is your in-house engine really are the improvements that an in-house engine can deliver to a game over and above, say, Unreal Engine 5 enough to justify the added investment of having to run and maintain and continue develop? Have a whole department. Basically, within you have a whole department dedicated to the game engine. You take that out. You just need a couple of technical directors who know and understand Unreal Engine and then could advise the rest of the team. Anyway, it's big. It's big news, ladies and gentlemen. The Halo reset. Let me know in the chat what you think. Let's just see what you guys have been saying about it. I'll go to my blank chat. Yeah, Gaming Cyborg on his way home in the car, no doubt. I haven't finished the new campaign. It seemed kind of dry. I probably need to push. Look, it's not groundbreaking, Juice, but it's all right, and it gets quite tough in some places, frankly. But it's more of the same, isn't it? You go through, meet a boss, beat the boss, go through the next level, meet the boss, beat the boss, go for, But if you like that kind of thing, like I do, it's fine. And some of the bosses are quite challenging, I found. But I would love more story elements. I'd love to say, look, here's a new campaign. Macchiato says, yes, I think that's what Microsoft is going for. If they cancel the Slip Space engine, having a number of the studios using, Unreal 5 and asking every developer certain features as needed. That makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense if you move the whole studio or your in-house studios to Unreal 5, because you could probably get a bit of a discount on the game engine license. Cut a deal with Epic saying, look, we're going to be using it on, a massive majority of games. So give us a discount across the piece. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. But it's not all doom and gloom, ladies and gentlemen. It's not all doom and gloom. Don't worry about that. We have... So there was a feature on some indie games coming to Gamepass. I didn't really feel Everspace 2 was an indie game. Is it? Yeah, I suppose it is. PC Game Pass is empowering ID at Xbox developers, so the indie developers, to create their dream products. We spoke to Head of Global Independent Creator Partnerships, Guy Richards, and they talk about here what we've got here. So coming to Xbox Game Pass, and I've mentioned it in my video summary of games coming to Xbox Game Pass. If you've not seen the video, check it out on the channel. The Last Case of Benedict Fox, which looks a really interesting game. A Metroidvania meets Lovecraft in this side-scrolling spooky platformer. Anyway, the point is, one, they ask them, why did you choose to join Game Pass? And they're saying, look, plot twist isn't the biggest studio in game development, but we're ambitious. As any other developer out there, we wanted to share our stories and work with others. And that's the key thing. This used to be true of the Stadia Pro. Like sometimes if you're a smallish independent developer and you know you're getting guaranteed money on the table, you've paid your wages, yeah? You've got guaranteed money on the table. You want to get your game out there. You want people to play your game. Whereas if you just sort of try to sell it, unless it gets enough rocket fuel, enough gravity to sort of break free of the competition and raise its head above the parapet, no one's going to see your game, hear your game, play your game. If you put a game on Games Pass, I'll give it a go. Just like on Stadia Pro games. Every month I gave, like every Stadia Pro game I looked at least once. I'll give your game a go. So as an independent, so we're talking about the competition at AAA games end of things and how competitive it is and how expensive and risky it is. And that's why you're seeing games that aren't quite making the grade, falling away, being shuttered, people being laid off. At a smaller level, get your game on Games Pass, get a check written up front. He goes on to say, the developer of Benedict Fox, going with Game Pass was a natural step for us. It's incredible how supportive Game Pass team have always been, and the marketing support is amazing. Yeah, you know, we'll come to see a little thing later on where they talk about games coming, and you know, Benedict, they profile the games. Xbox, you know, highlight the games that come into Games Pass, obviously. So if you're a small independent developer and you've got a game and you want to get it out there, Games Pass is a great spotlight for your game, and it won't get lost. You know, if you try to sell it, and trying to sell the game is a risk. Yeah, you might hit lucky, you might hit gold, and you know, the game get traction and you sell loads of copies and you go into profit. Yeah, you need to build back your development cost. You need to, there's a threshold of sales you need to make. You don't start making a profit on your first sale. You would have had to sell X amount of copies just to break even. And then you start making a profit and paying everybody back. And then you make a bit more profit and you start paying out bonuses to your team if you're lucky. Games Pass, you're paid. Hopefully you've covered your costs. You've made a little bit of profit. Fine. You take that. You take that. Anyway, there's a launch date for it. April the 27th, 2023. The Last Case of Benedict Fox is available on April the 27th, 2023. Yeah. So that was revealed in this Xbox news. We didn't know when it was coming out. All these other ones, spring 2023. So we actually have a date. April the 27th, 2023, for The Last Case of Benedict Fox, ladies and gentlemen. Talking of Games Pass, so this would make a big difference for Games Pass, obviously. Ubisoft Plus, ladies and gentlemen, is potentially right around the corner for Xbox. So it was announced a while ago, I think last year, that Ubisoft Plus was coming to Xbox Games Pass, or coming to Xbox. Ubisoft Plus was announced for Xbox last year, but we haven't heard much about it since. It's a subscription service. I subscribed when on Stadia, and it certainly filled out the library of games. That offers a range of Ubisoft games like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry on PC. It's coming to Xbox in some form, so it could just be a PC, we don't know. But we have no idea exactly when. Over 60 games have been found tagged for Xbox Plus on Xbox. So they've started tagging some of the games, so you know it's Ubisoft Plus. So if those of us that had it on Stadia, you'd see the little Ubisoft Plus sign in blue or whatever on the game. Over a year ago now, we've known that Microsoft has worked out a deal with Ubisoft to bring the publisher's Ubisoft Plus subscription service to Xbox consoles. So it will be consoles, but where is it? Where is it? For those that don't know, it offers a library of content for a relatively low fee of $15 a month. You get access to over 100 Ubisoft titles, and you get the sort of the best versions of the game. You get them day and date. So the next Far Cry game, boom, there it is. It's yours. Well worth it. I mean, you know, if you played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you get all the DLC. You don't get the base game. You get like the gold version of the game. Anyway, so it looks like this Ubisoft little plus sign they're seeing is being tagged. So the code is in there. Recently, Xbox OS was updated with iconography to support Ubisoft Plus games. Typically, games on Xbox often signify some of their features with white icons set against a transparent gradient in the lower left corner of the thumbnails. Ubisoft icons were added to the Xbox OS sometime in the past month or so and represent an additional step towards the full realization of service on Xbox. And here's a full list of Ubisoft titles for Xbox so far. So, in true achievements, recently noticed its Xbox API access that a range of Ubisoft games was tagged with Ubisoft Plus. And here we go. Assassin's Creed, Chronicles of China, India, Russia, yeah, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, all the Assassin's Creed basically. Far Cry 3, 4, 5, 6, Primal, For Honor. Oh my God, the amount of times that was announced for Stadia and then it was nearer. Jesus Christ. Look at it, loads. Uno! Yes. It's well worth it if you're into, say, Far Cry games and Assassin's Creed. It's well worth that subscription. Oh, there's a picture there. The little U plus there. So there we go. So, you know, possibly good news for Xbox and fans of Ubisoft games. Don't know. In other news of games coming to Gamepass, I'm quite excited about this one. In fact, I'm very excited about it. Wulong Fallen Dynasty. Again, it featured in my games coming to Xbox. Gamepass. Check it out. The video, as I said. But there is a demo of Wulong Fallen Dynasty coming on February the 24th. Wulong Fallen Dynasty demo is coming on February the 24th. You can play it on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Steam, and Microsoft Store. I wonder if it'd be available on GeForce Now. Have to find out on Thursday. Save data from this demo will transfer to the final game. And bear in mind, the game is coming to Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, later in the year. Complete the demo to obtain the Crouching Dragon Helmet DLC in the full game. Ooh. So, yeah, looking forward to that one. I think that's great news. The demo is available in the next couple of weeks. We will be getting a demo. Oh, I forgot what this one is. Oh, yeah. And here we go. Look. This is just a reminder of some of the day one games, yeah, that are coming Xbox Game Pass. Replaced. I'm not familiar with. Redfall, Forza Motorsport, Darktide, Starfield, Atomic Heart, Minecraft Legends, Liza P, Wolong, which I was just talking about, Stalker 2, and replaced Darktide. I missed that one out. Did I? It's not Warhammer Darktide, is it? Is that what they're talking about? Excuse me. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, I was thinking, what's that game? They couldn't fit the word Warhammer in. It's a bit annoying, isn't it? Right. And finally, where is it? Finally, where's my final? Why did nobody tell me? I'll try and find the story there. That Power Wash was available on Gamepass. Nobody told me. That's my kind of when did I just want to know, when did Power Wash last year? I had no idea. So I saw that and I thought, I had no idea. The Power Wash, for those that are interested, is available on Game Pass. I had no idea. It's now last year. I had no idea. Missed that one completely. Ages ago, said no. Well, I just completely missed it. I know people were talking about it. I just had no idea it was ages ago. Anyway, so there's quite a lot of stuff there, he says, as he closes all... Oh, my God. Close all the tabs. Quite a lot of stuff we covered off there, ladies and gentlemen. But let me know your thoughts on all of that. If you're watching live, obviously, you can let me know your thoughts live. No problem. Crow's in the house. Hello, Crow. Lovely to see you. If you're not watching live, then put it in the comments because it helps with the algorithms. So, put it down in the old in the comments what your thoughts are about, in particular about Halo. Is it doomed? Are they, are they trying to bail water on a sinking ship? I've been here before. I've learned. I've been burnt. Right? Stadia. I've been burnt. Where I think, oh no, everything will be fine. Ever the optimist. No, that won't happen. It won't happen. But the telltale signs are there, and you can find positive clues that will help, create your case for why things are fine. That's not to say you're wrong. The evidence is there. You just could be on the wrong side of where it lands and circumstance. And so, are we seeing that with Halo? I mean, the IP by itself is enough. It's not dependent on 343. You've got the IP, you've got Master Chief, you've got the style, the look, the sort of story, the universe. So does it matter what game engine you decide to build that universe out on? To exploit that IP. Do you agree with me? You may not be fans of Battle Royale. I mean, I'm sort of a masochistic fan of Battle Royale. I constantly get beaten, but I love it. Keep going back to it. With Battle Royales. So, yeah, would a Halo battle royale type thing, or a variation of that, a sort of, you know, a mix of PvE and PvP, arena kind of stuff work? I don't know. Did I mention Age of Empires 2 coming to Xbox? Yes. No, I didn't mention it today because it's here. Probably the start of something big. If it does well, maybe a whole host of RTS games will come to the console first. Yes, I did see a tweet out, Gandara. I'm not a big fan of the old RTS, but somebody tweeted out who is a fan, I think it was Tartan Troop, Lee, saying that the control system is really clever. I don't know if you've played it, Age of Empires 2, on console, because that's the issue with sort of real-time strategy games, as I understand it, because it's, you know, it's your nerdy PC games, isn't it? You've got a keyboard, you do lots of things with it. It's a bit more difficult with a controller. If that's annoying me. So I'm sorry. I'm going to switch something off. If yeah, but you've got to be quite clever in how you get it to work with a controller without it being too kind of overly complicated or cumbersome. And as I understand it, that the controller system for an RTS game on Age of Empires 2 has really been thought through. So yeah, you're right. Maybe it could show the way that, hey, RTS games can work on a console to satisfy those people who love a bit of RTS but want to play it on their consoles. Hot Wheels tomorrow. Hopefully Xbox won't shut the day after. Yes, said nah. Oh my God. Hot Wheels was such a brilliant game. Talking of that, right, so many people know that I have a massive fondness for Lego, right? I used to work for the company. I'm just going to share this as my final thing. This is a little Stadia thing. I have lots of Lego, or rather my kids do. Well, they don't play with it anymore. But every time I went to the shopping mall with them, not that I do, it's pre-COVID, and we used to go to the Lego shop. I used to always buy minifigures. I've got like a whole board, like a Lego plate of tons and tons and tons of minifigures. I love minifigures. I used to love them when I was at Lego. Anyway, talking of that, check out, ladies and gentlemen, this, and Stadia fans, I know it's an Xbox show, check out this minifigure that Grace of X Stadia had. Look at that. Let's get rid of that. Look! The 2019 launch exclusive. Look, a little Lego minifigure. And look, I don't know if you can see that on the screen, but basically the little Lego minifigure with its Stadia shirt is holding a little Lego controller. Stadia controller. What? I'd love that Lego minifigure. Did they have them made specially, or a company that specializes in painting minifigures or designing minifigures, painting it? I don't know. Oh my God. I mean, you know, it's special for people who worked on the launch at Google Stadia and everything. That's why Grace has it, and she posted it on Twitter. But I'm thinking, oh, as a fan of Lego minifigures, as a fan of Lego, I'd love that. I'd love to have one of them. Awesome. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you, ladies and gentlemen. Lucky, lucky woman. Well, not so lucky because she got made redundant, but you know what I mean. Poor old Grace. Anyway, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, said no, I was loving that as well. Quite right too. As I said, if you haven't already hit the likes, please hit the likes because I like it, YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find amazing content like this. And as I said, if you're watching it after the event, that's fine. Put some comments down in the comment on what we've been talking about, especially about Halo. I'm going to be jumping on some Halo after this, actually. And all of that. Have a wonderful, wonderful gaming week. Enjoy. Chill. And all of that. And I shall see you later on the week for those so inclined to catch up on all things and chat all things GeForce Now on Thursday, of course. Otherwise, we'll be here the same time, same place next week for the Xbox Monday Night Chat, the podcast. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here live. I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Sayonara, my friends.